RYOBI has been green for over 20 years, and then they dropped this. A blacked out limited edition drill and a couple of other tools, but I don't think it's a color change. I think this is a clue, because I did some digging and I found some recent patent filings by RYOBI that are going to be very shocking to a lot of people, including a brand new track saw design, some improvements to their batteries, smarter tool control, and job site power systems, and of course a few other little tidbits that I think are pointing us toward a higher tier of RYOBI, the Pro line. Now, before I prove my case that RYOBI's coming out with a Pro line of their tools, if you'd like to check out anything that I showed today, there's links in the description, the pinned comment. Of course, you can click the shop button here on YouTube, as well as that QR code for my TV viewers that you can scan with your phone. I'd like to say this video is not sponsored by RYOBI. They don't even know I'm making this video. They did send this blacked out version for me to check out, but this is what kind of spawned the idea for this video. Now, the pieces are lining up what I think RYOBI's going to unveil a Pro line of their tools, and I don't think they're going to call it Pro. I think, just my guess, they're going to call it OnePlus HP Edge to go along with their Edge batteries that they already have. So today I'm going to prove my case in 4 ways. Number 1, I'm going to show you some OnePlus HP tools that are already punching above their weight class. They are way outperforming a lot of the other DIY tools in this category, and they're just absolutely incredible tools. Number 2, I'm going to show you the patents that I found and I uncovered that I think proves that we're headed toward a line of Pro tools from RYOBI. Third, we're going to talk about Edge batteries and why it makes absolutely no sense that we can't get these in combo kits already, and the direction I think this is going to go. And fourth, we're going to talk about the 40-volt line, because I think they're already playing in the big leagues with those. So the OnePlus battery platform has now been around for 30 years, 1996 all the way to 2026. 30 years, the same battery design can be used on the tools from 96 all the way through 2026, which is quite a feat, because not all battery platforms or other brands can even claim that. Most of them have changed their battery design over the years. RYOBI has stuck with it. Compatibility means a lot to them. And I think it means a lot to customers, because you can pick up a new battery and use it with your old tools, or vice versa, which is a big value proposition when you go to looking at what cordless tool platform you're going to invest your money in. And in this 30-year roadmap you see behind me, all the way down from 1996 when they started their blue tools out, which I think looked pretty good, then they went to the green about 10 years in, give or take, and then all of a sudden, this year, we get a blacked out version. This is a very limited edition drill. At the time I'm filming this, there are a few left in stock. I will link them in the description and all those places. If you want one, it may be too late by the time this video comes out, because they are selling out fast. And then there's also a limited edition vacuum if you wanted to pick that up. I don't know if there's any more limited edition tools coming. I would think maybe they would put out a couple more throughout the year. I think it would be a fun thing to do, but I have no inside info. I didn't even know this was coming out until I saw it on YouTube, and then I reached out to RYOBI and said, hey, can I get one of those? And they sent it over. Now, if you look in that timeline, they've left us a clue. You got to study it pretty carefully, because there's a clue in there. It says, the platform remains constant, but the future keeps evolving. I do think that's a clue, just like the black drill is a clue, along with the patents that I found. Now, as far as the black drill goes, this is just a standard OnePlus HP drill. The OnePlus HP line, high performance, is the top of the line RYOBI tools. I have several here that we'll talk about in a minute, but this one is special because it does have the 30th badging on there, and the battery that come with it has a 30th anniversary badging. It's a very cool thing, and what I like and what I appreciate is they didn't raise the price a ton over the regular version OnePlus HP, which is $79. It's one of the best value drills that you can buy, in my opinion. This one is $99 for a special edition. It's all blacked out. I think most people will be happy to pay that $20 extra to get their hands on a blacked out version that's very limited. And I think it makes a massive difference, green to black. You tell me which one you prefer. Just comment green or black and let me know. I've had a lot of comments say they don't buy RYOBI because they're green, which I think is a valid point. A lot of people buy tools based on color, but the black looks so much more professional. It looks less DIY-like, and I think that will appeal to a mass audience if they get the specs right. Now, this drill is just the OnePlus HP drill. It's just blacked out. They changed the color scheme, and it looks absolutely amazing. With the green highlights, it is a 2-speed drill. It does have the 24 torque settings that you can dial up or down all the way to drill mode. It is not a hammer drill, but it is their top-of-the-line drill in the OnePlus HP line. Now, the OnePlus HP line is their top-of-the-line, as I said, and some of these are already knocking on the door of pro-level tools. They have graduated outside of the DIY realm, in my opinion. Now, they do have some regular standard OnePlus tools. I bought a whole combo kit of those. They're brushed tools. They're not brushless, so they lack a few features, the power, the battery life, that sort of thing, as some of the brushless models or the OnePlus HP line. These are fine for DIY, for the homeowner, just doing a couple of projects around the house, they're perfectly fine. They'll handle whatever you're going to do. But the 1+ HP line steps it up a little bit. So if you're doing woodworking or you're doing more projects throughout the month, that's the line I would highly recommend you go with over the 1+. And these are the tools I recommend every time if somebody asks me about RYOBI. The drill and impact combo, the 1+ HP, this is the hammer drill, but they do have a combo kit that doesn't have the hammer function if you don't want or need that. Typically hammer drills are made for masonry and things like that. You don't really need that around the house in most cases. So you could save a little money going with the non-hammered version. These are fantastic drills. I put them up against Milwaukee and DeWalt and any other tool brand out there, and they performed equally as well. Next, if you're in the wood shop and you have RYOBI, you have to pick up the 1+ HP router. It's one of the better made routers that I own. I have several. This is a really good one. I use it all the time. I like the micro adjustment dial on here. This is very similar to Milwaukee and Rigid because pretty much they're owned by TTI, or Rigid's not technically, but they license them. Milwaukee and RYOBI are both owned by TTI, so they share a lot of the same design functions. And some people say they're made by the same people, so they're the same. It's not really the case, but this router is fantastic. The one-handed recip saw that come out, I think last year, it's a great little tool. It's a great little design, and it's just nice to have around the house and shop. I have been a fan of the brad nailer for a very long time. The 1+ HP Airstrike is what they call it. It's a nice little addition to have, especially if you're in the shop or just doing small jobs, things like that. And finally, one of my favorite RYOBI tools is the barrel grip jigsaw. I think this is one of their better inventions or better things they've come out with over the last couple of years. The 1+ HP does everything you need to do, cuts really nice, square, smooth cuts. It's just a really good jigsaw. If you're in the market, I do prefer the barrel grip over the standard D grip. Now, their brand new 1+ HP circular saw come out last year, and it had a lot of improvements, including a metal base with the metal bevel adjustments and the rafter hook, a more powerful motor. It's just an all-around great circular saw. I think it's one of those that's knocking on the door as well. Now, to improve the circular saw, you just need a little bit more power. It's really all you need. Everything else I think works well. It adjusts easily. It cuts through most everything you're going to need anyway, but if it had a little bit more torque, I think we would be there. All of these 1+ HP tools are knocking on the door of pro, if not already there in some cases. And that's why I think the next step for RYOBI is the 1+ HP Edge line. If they decide to call it that, I think that's a good name for the pro level. And there's a few things they can do to really get there, including what we found in the patents. Now, before we get into the patents I found, let's talk about what they can do to make these more pro. For instance, the drill. If they wanted to make a more pro-level drill, look at DeWalt. It's an extremely powerful drill, and if the bit gets hung that you're using, drill bits, driver bits, and it twists, it shuts itself off to prevent injury on your wrist. That's a nice innovation to have. If RYOBI did something like that, plus up the torque and the power of their drills, we're looking at a pro line. They're already almost there. Add a couple of features, you got a pro level drill. If you're looking at routers, all they would have to do to come out with a pro level router is just take Milwaukee's example of their 2¼ horsepower plunge based router. It's all cordless. All they would have to do is come out with a router like that. Pro level router right there. Or if they went a step further and added in the anti-rotation that DeWalt has, or even the bit stop that Bosch has that stops the motor if you drop it, a couple of those safety innovations with one of those bigger routers in the RYOBI platform would be a welcome addition. I think the jigsaw's already there. I wouldn't make any changes to that. It's a great little tool. Table saw, they need an updated table saw if they're wanting to go in the pro line. I'm not a fan of their current table saw. If they made both a corded and a cordless version of their table saw with the rack and pinion fence, a little bit more power, I think would be pro line there as well. Now let's talk about the patents that I uncovered. Now there's a few patents here that I think is really game changing for RYOBI if they come to pass. And just because it was patented doesn't always mean it's coming out. And a couple of little nuances here to remember is Tektronix Industries also owns Milwaukee, so some of these patents could go either way, RYOBI or Milwaukee. I think they're from RYOBI, but you can be the judge for yourself. Number one, the track saw. One of my least favorite RYOBI tools over the last several years has been the track saw. I've been very critical of it. I think it's a really good track saw if all you're going to do is cut plywood, just straight cuts all day long. Anything thicker than that, it just doesn't work well. And because of the plunge mechanism with the riving knife coming down with the blade, instead of like other track saw manufacturers that come out separately, they operate separately so it comes out and down. You can't plunge cut with the RYOBI track saw, so it is not a true plunge cutting saw, which could be a drawback for a lot of people. Dust collection was also not that great, but we'll see if the new version, if it comes out, has better dust collection. But the main thing they've improved on with this new patent that I found is the plunging, which is one of my main complaints. What this new patent points toward is a better plunging mechanism and lockout features. So locking the blade either prevent it from plunging for safety and locking it in place in different positions. But mainly the plunge mechanism, according to the patent that I've seen, it looks like they're going to refine that so we actually get a plunge saw, which would be fantastic for RYOBI. Next patent was battery upgrades. Now, a lot of people will tune out when they hear batteries because it's just a battery, but this is actually the foundation of Pro Tools. Now, the battery patents are focused on the internals of the battery. And why does that matter? These patents focus on how the cells are connected, how power moves through the pack, and how the pack is assembled in a consistent way. Translation, what does that mean? If you want your high draw tools to perform better, like your bigger circular saws, your track saws, table saws, miter saws, all that sort of thing, you need that power to be delivered without these batteries getting overheated or causing damage to themselves. Then there's the bigger 18-volt capacities that will support those bigger tools. If you see, this patent looks like this battery is big, like a 12 amp hour or more on this 18-volt platform. And if we get those, I think that's going to be huge, especially if you have their outdoor power tools or any of the bigger power-hungry tools that may be out there. Next is a smart battery and charger communication patent that I found. What this is better battery charge management. Better battery health, smarter decisions based on temperature, voltage, and pack status. In plain English, it just helps your batteries last longer as far as the lifespan of the battery. If the charger is a smart charger and doesn't overcharge them, overheat them, that sort of thing, that's good for the battery. Another patent I found was smart tool control. If you think about how vac link works with Milwaukee, where if you turn the sander on, the shop vac already comes on, or the dust collector comes on, that sort of thing. I did find some patents based around what I think is RYOBI tools from the way the pictures look, where if you power on a tool, another one will power up on its own, and it's just very, very convenient. So I like to see that innovation coming from RYOBI and pointing them toward that Pro line. Now there are some patents around some modular power supplies that I found that might be pointing in the direction of something you can use on the job site, or kind of like stacking power modules to add more power or at least more capacity in those modules, which I think would be really nice on the job site or for power outages, things like that. There was a patent on a powered fastener driver. The way I read it was it basically has an auto mode so that if you're driving a screw, it'll give it the perfect torque to get it set instead of overdriving, things like that, which is always nice to have. I have a few that have that auto setting. It's pretty nice. And then there was a fastener delivery mechanism. I think this has to do with their nailers to help prevent jamming and to just be more consistent, produce faster nails if you're in one of those situations where you just need to pop some nails in. And so this little delivery method they've patented, I think will be coming to some of their Pro nailers, if they have those. So when you stack all of these patents up, you look at a better track saw, better power management, better battery technology, as well as even the delivery method on the nailers. All of this is pointing to the Pro line. And one of the things that makes me a fan of RYOBI, yeah, I'm a fanboy of RYOBI, is they're constantly innovating, and this proves it, and they're always trying to get better and produce more and more tools. It's one of the largest cordless tool platforms out there. Now when it comes to the Edge batteries, these are the tabless technologies that come out, I think last year, maybe the year before. These deliver a lot more power. We've put those through the test here on the channel using circular saws and the one-handed recip saw. This just delivers more power to the tool more efficiently, so the battery's lasting longer as far as the actual what you're getting out of each charge, and they just, again, perform better. You're getting faster cuts, more power coming out of that saw or other tool. They're just better batteries. But what's crazy is right now, as far as I know, you can't buy a combo kit that has an Edge battery. You have to buy these individually. If they launch the Premier or the Pro level tool, the ONE+ HP Edge line is what I'm calling it, I think we'll start seeing the combo kits come with the Edge batteries, and not just with the 4 amp hour, which is all you can get right now. I think they're going to expand the Edge line to have higher capacities, because you'll want those higher capacities like 6 amp, 8 amp, even 12 amp hour batteries for your higher end consumers. Look at Milwaukee. They got the big old 12 amp hour Forge batteries. Things are beasts. But they have a lot of power-hungry tools like their dust extractors, saws, all sorts of things. So RYOBI is going to have to up that, and I think they're going to do it with the Edge. Now the 40-volt line is where things get interesting, because this is where it's already stepping up into a higher level. If you look at a lot of their outdoor power equipment that's 40-volt, I have their lawnmower. It's like a 21-inch self-propelled lawnmower. We've used that thing for almost a year now without any issues, and it's mowing my lawn, does really well. I also have their chainsaw, I have their string trimmer, I have a pressure washer that's 40 volt. There's a lot of stuff going on in the 40 volt line. They even have riding lawnmowers now that have this 40 volt and even 80 volts now. You can also get the 40 volt in the Edge batteries. Is that a clue? I recently found this patent on a robotic lawnmower from RYOBI. If it's a 40 volt robot lawnmower, that's pretty cool. And I like to see that innovation. And I'll be getting one if they have them, because I don't like cutting grass. But imagine if they made a table saw. that this went on. Or a miter saw that the 40 volts go on. Is that outside the realm of possibility? Because if you look at Milwaukee, it's their sister or brother company, whatever you want to call it, they have both a 12 volt and an 18 volt that live side by side. There's a lot of different tools in both of those categories. RYOBI could do the same thing with a 40 volt line, the 40 volt edge line. So when I look at this blacked out anniversary edition drill, I don't see a collector's tool. I see a test. I see a branding test. The green stays the value workhorse for the DIYer, for the weekend woodworker, or even for the homeowner. But the black becomes the premium line, the 1+ HP edge line. Brushless, more refined, better ergonomics, more power, more features all around, better durability, and an edge battery or multiple edge batteries in every combo kit. And if the Gen 2 tools like the track saw upgrade that I think will be coming fixes the main complaints and problems that you have with your Gen 1 tools, that's how you start changing the direction or the brand's reputation. Because now, honestly, if you ask people online, a lot of people think RYOBI, green, DIY, or homeowner. Not pro level, not job site ready. Even though tons of people are using them on job sites, I see it in my comments all the time, people have been using them for decades, a lot of people still have that negative connotation. So how do you change that? Change the branding, come out with a pro line. But you gotta still stay under that Milwaukee or DeWalt or Makita pricing, still keep it at a fair level, and I think this would dominate the pros. If RYOBI come out with a 1+ HP edge line of tools and all the combo kits come with the edge batteries, would you be a buyer? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. If you're ever looking to save money on tools, no matter what your brand is, I have a tool deal email that I send out every single morning. All you got to do is check the first link in the description and go sign up. It's absolutely free. We send those emails out every day to help you save money. Sign up now. If you like this video, you got to check out my RYOBI regrets video. Regrets. Click that box to get you the big old virtual fist bump. Seriously, go check it out.